and hope. Oh, right. Okay, I'll start again. Good evening, everyone. My name is Councillor Mary Locke. I'm councillor for Stirchley. Thank you all for coming this evening. I know we're back to having it via Teams and Zoom, but for safety's sake, that's why we're doing it. The meeting is being recorded for people to watch who couldn't make it later on the council's YouTube site. So before anything else, I will hand over to Nadeem to give us a COVID update from Public Health.
Yeah, hi, good evening, everyone. So just giving an update in terms of what's happening with the COVID. So I think we're all aware that there's recently a new variant, the Omicron variant, first found in South Africa, has also been reported in Botswana, Hong Kong, Belgium, and Israel. Details of the variant is still unclear, but it's thought to be highly transmissible and spreading fast in parts of South Africa. Currently, there's no known cases in Birmingham, which is really good. There were temporary measures put in place in terms of protective measures. So from today, face coverings will be mandatory in shops and public transport. Education settings from year 7 and above have been advised to introduce face coverings in communal spaces. There are no further restrictions planned on mass gatherings or hospitality. Isolation guidelines have changed, linked to the suspected cases of the new variant, and these include all household members and close contacts, including children, must isolate for 10 days, irrespective of vaccination status. All international travellers must isolate following arrival until they have a negative result from their day 2 of the PCR arrival test. Additionally, countries have been added to the red list, and the government, I think we all seen the briefing tonight, the government are rolling out extended boosters to more adult populations as well. In terms of the COVID data in Birmingham, in the 7 days up to the 22nd of November, there were 3,517 cases reported in Birmingham, an increase of 10.6% compared to 3,180 cases in the previous week. Birmingham case rate is ranked at 131st in England out of 149 local authorities, with Rutland the highest and Newham the lowest. Comparing the week ending 22nd of November with the previous 7 days, cases increased in the 0 to 19 age group by 21% and the 20 to 39 age group by 19.9%. All other age groups saw a decrease in case rates. Comparing week ending the 22nd of November with the previous 7 days, cases increased in all ethnic groups. The largest increase was 35% in the mixed other ethnic group, followed by an increase of 10.9% in the black ethnic group, and the white ethnic group accounted for 53% of all cases. In terms of the Stirchley Ward, in the last 7 days up to the 22nd of November, 44 cases were reported. This ranks as 20th out of 69 wards, and Sutton Vesey being the highest and Newtown being the lowest. As of 25th of November, there were 11 COVID champions in the Stirchley Ward. In the month between 24th of October and the 22nd of November, there were a total of 152 cases in Stirchley. In terms of the pattern of cases rates, have seen an overall drop in Stirchley since October, although there's been an increase since mid-November. So does anyone have any questions? I'll do my best to answer them.
Any questions, anyone? I've got a question if no one has. do we know about with care homes and nursing homes? Because obviously that is a concern for a lot of people with relatives and you know, visiting, because we're coming up to the Christmas season as well.
Yeah, the government did introduce legislation to say everyone who worked in a care home or a nursing home needs to be vaccinated, but I don't know if there's any extra measures that the government have introduced, not that I've seen or heard, but I can check that out for you, councillor, and come back to you.
Told that she was setting fire. It's hardly surprising then the doctors say it's becoming harder and harder to recruit.
Hello? Councillor, you're on mute.
Oh, there we go. It's all right. Something went on. I know about care home staff having to be vaccinated. I've had the jabs and the booster. It's more like closing down if the cases go to the older, well, sometimes older generation that tend to live in nursing homes and care homes.
Yeah, I can find out for you, councillor, if there's any additional measures put in place for care homes or nursing homes. I can come back to you and let you know.
Okay. Has anyone got any questions? No. Well, thank you, Nadeem, and just stay safe and appreciate that.
Okay. Thank you, everyone. Thank you. Have a good evening, everyone. Bye-bye. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thanks, Nadine. Bye-bye.
Bye. Bye. Thanks for that, Kate. Bye.
Intervene, and the rude patient just splashed out and hit him.
Doctors sympathise over the delays, but say they're seeing 13% more people. The practices in my area and around the country are seeing.
I think somebody's got the news on in the background.
And it's mainly affecting.
There we go.
The next item in the agenda is a project, but I don't think the person who's going to do it is here at the moment, so I'll change the agenda around slightly. I've got Stuart Cross from Kier to give us a briefing on you know, what's up with the roads and potholes and pavements, and he's ready and anxious for all your questions.
Good evening, Councillor. As ever, thanks for the invite, and good evening, everyone. Yep, so as Councillor Locke did say, I'm Stuart Cross from Kier Highways. I'm the highway steward, and I maintain an overview of the south of Birmingham. So not too much to report on big schemes at the moment within the ward. Obviously, we've done some work recently on the Pershall Road. That's been completed for the Stirchley side. There's a bit more to go within Selly Park. The big one, I guess, but I know Councillor Locke's very interested and there's a lot of feedback that needs to be done, is Cartland Road. That's going to be the next major stream in the ward, and that's going to be started, obviously, weather permitting, 18th of Feb. It's a big stream, obviously, it's a decent sized road, so we expect that also because it has got a bit of a history. I'm sure anyone who's driven up it as much as I have as well, there are lots of dips and it's quite an even drive as well. So I don't know if anybody's remember about 3 or 4 years ago there was a major flood one winter, and I think there was an issue regarding some of the sub base down there. So yeah, so it starts on the 18th of Feb and we expect it to last to probably maybe middle of April. So it's going to be a decent 5 weeks to do a decent, obviously that's an estimated time, but yeah, so that'll be happening early next year. But apart from that, yeah, there's no major streams at the moment. We've recently, just on the edge of Councillor Locke's ward, we've done some work on Bourneville Lane, which you may have seen, and obviously just on the other side of the bridge, that's within Councillor Locke's ward, and I know she spoke to me a few times about that. There is some work raised for that as well, which you'll see in the coming, I think there's some work due in December for that one. So Yeah, apart from that, nothing major, but obviously any questions or any issues people want to raise now, please shout them out and hopefully I'll be able to answer those for you.
Can I, Mary?
Sandra.
Yeah, you talked about Bourneville Lane, but they've
Yes.
actually started work there today or even yesterday on the corner, block the road so cars can't go up there. How long is that going to go on for?
Yes, so Councillor Locke did mention that earlier. So are we talking at the bottom end where the temporary barriers have been placed, you know, the temporary bollards?
Yes.
Is that the word?
Yeah, they've ripped all the curbs off, the curbstones out on the corners.
Indeed. So those are the ones that went in as part of lockdown. So that's not a clear stream. They were put in by the City Council.
No, they're taking the permanent curbstones out. The actual road, not just the temporary stuff.
Okay.
And there's lots of paint where obviously there's services under the pavement.
Yeah, there's no highway work down there. I know at some point we are going to be removing those bollards and the build outs, but that may be gas work. I know the gas were obviously further up the road last week.
I think so.
Yeah,
Not there.
I'll tell you what, while you're on the phone, once I've finished, I'll have a quick check to see what jobs are on there, and I'll quickly pop back in to let you know. No problem.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
I have also queried it with Shafat, the engineer, because Sajid is away at the moment. He's on holiday.
Yeah, you got me intrigued about that one. I'm I shall find out as we're speaking. Anybody else? Anything else? Yep. How can we help?
Alan?
Can I ask a question? It's just about Carlton Road, really. I was just wondering, I live in Carlton Road, and I wondered whether the blockage would be piecemeal or whether the entire road would be closed. I know taking it to a sort of daft degree, but the entire road wouldn't be closed presumably till April.
No, they'll do it in sections. You'll get a section where you quite often see where they'll get the planer in, that they may plane a certain level, a certain section of a road off. So you'll then get obviously the sign saying, you know, loose ironworks or raised ironworks, and they'll do it in sections. They haven't confirmed yet if it's day work or night work. Obviously night work can be easier, but then is it easier because obviously you've got the residents there, which it can be an inconvenience, and obviously it's not ideal at night. Also for the guys working, it's not particularly ideal. You know, if you want to see what you're doing, it happens all the time, but ideally days are better. But I think that's something, when I get confirmation, I'll let obviously yourself and Councillor Locke know what the plans are for that one.
Yeah, thanks. And it'll be nice just to see the place, you know, evened out a bit. It's so as you mentioned, it's very uneven at the moment.
Yeah. No, I don't think that
there are lots of potholes, and they go right down to the substrate. Yeah.
I definitely think there is an issue there. That's why I think it's not a huge road, so to be proposed for 6 weeks. Obviously, normally we go down 100 mil. They may be going a bit further down, just what we normally do before any top of resurfacing. They take core samples. They go down a metre.
Yeah, I think they've done that already.
Yeah, so you sometimes just see them marked up. So obviously the designs come back and they need to go a bit deeper than normal, maybe. So
it is a bus route, you see, and it's
it will be obviously issues for a few weeks, but hopefully, you know, let's get the pain out of the way and get it done.
Absolutely, yeah.
Well,
Thanks.
It's long needed to be done anyway, so I'm glad about that for people. Is there anything else? And anyone got any?
I've just got one thing. I mean, they've done an excellent job on the paving down the when the timings, they've chose the wrong timings because they had the whole of school holidays, and they've decided to do it as soon as schools opened. Everyone went back to work, and I just don't feel those are the times.
Yeah, I know there was obviously some issues regarding timings for that. It was a tricky one to do. Unfortunately, the programme did start. I know this is more a planning side of it. The new programme started in September, unfortunately. So because it's an interim contract, it ran from April to August, and unfortunately, then the new programmed kits in September. So yeah, it would have been easy if it happened in August, I must admit. But yeah, unfortunately, they didn't manage to do that in time. But at least the worst bit's been done now anyway, which is good news. So the pain's behind us anyway.
Not completely, because a lot of people from Stirchley drive into the centre of Birmingham and they haven't finished the other bits. So that's
there's a section
ongoing.
between was it Dodpool Lane and
Kensington, wasn't it?
yeah, no, they've done that side, but I think originally it'd be going from Bewdley up to Dodpool Lane. So I think that's been looked at again in the future. But yeah, not for the time being anyway. And obviously, I don't know if anybody's seen confirmed the Malvern route for next year.
Yeah.
And that comes down Pershore. That goes obviously up Bourneville Lane and in and out of Bourneville. And
yeah, no, hardly any of it is in Stirchley, despite what people might think it isn't. But the half marathon is as usual. That will be coming through Stirchley.
I think it does go up Bourneville Lane still, doesn't it? I think
only a tiny little bit. Only from Bond Street to the bridge. Nowhere else.
Oh, well, it's going past my house more or less, so I'll see it.
Well, at least everybody could take. I know with the half marathon, I have spoken to Gary Peel. They're meeting with the sponsors and everything to decide on route and everything. As soon as I get information, Gary knows I've chewed his ear off to come and speak to us or about it, because I've got a list of people I want to invite to future meetings in next year. So hopefully everybody will have plenty of questions, and maybe we may even be able to meet face to face, because at the moment we're having to meet like this because that is the procedure. Thank you, Stuart.
Can I just say one more thing? I'm on the committee of Stirchley Neighbourhood Forum. When you did the pavement works, I had a hotline to John McQuaid, and that was excellent. He told me who to look out for. We sorted out some of the access issues, which were unnecessarily tortuous, and we sorted them out on site.
Yeah, as I did
in terms of the Cartland Road and possibly the Bourneville Lane, it would be helpful if we had that sort of contact again, because one of the problems is we just don't know who to talk to.
Yeah,
well, I usually do as well. I usually do as well at in the council and via Kier.
So for the big schemes, there will be obviously, especially when Cartland Road happens, there'll be the 8 boards going up, and we'll do a letter drops to residents, and obviously let our councillors know what's going on. So
but the letter drops didn't work very well on the pavement. So a lot of the side roads didn't get any letters, or if they did, the dates were wrong. And so it's just useful to have some on the ground, and it would be useful for you to have some on the ground intelligence as to how it's going.
Yeah, no, that's a fair comment. The good thing is, I mean, obviously Councillor Locke is one of the most on the ball councillors I have in the south of Birmingham. So if there's anything out of place, she certainly lets me know. So that's not a problem. Okay, Sandra, while you're on the phone, I'm going to step back and I'm going to have a quick look at that work, and I'll put a message in the chat if that's okay.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, thank you all.
Okay, well, thank you for that, Stuart. We're racing ahead tonight. I don't know, it's going too well for me. Now I think we'll have Darren share, because we're highly honoured to have Darren this evening. So please, give way to you.
Thanks, Councillor Locke. So evening, everybody. So I'm Darren Share. I'm the Assistant Director for Street Scene, and I've come here tonight to talk to you about some of the work we've undertaken, and we've got still plans to undertake further work under the 106 agreement. I've just taken over from the project officer who's left the council, so I'm picking this up from where we are. But just to give you a bit of an overview, we've been looking at bins and benches, and we've installed a number of bins and benches down through Stirchley. We've also commenced a painting program. There's more painting to be done. It's not the best time to be doing painting at the moment with the cold, but we've certainly got some further painting works to be done. And hopefully the most important bit, certainly from my perspective, is the planters. And we are looking to green up Stirchley, and that work, we're planning a walkabout just after Christmas, and then we will start to install the planters and the plants ready for the main growing season. So we'll order and grow the plants on, keep them in our nurseries, and then bring them out hopefully around April time, depending on the weather. But we're planning to bring quite a significant number that will go down the high street itself.
Oh, thank you. Because I think this is long overdue. Is anyone got any questions for Darren, Susan, or anyone? Oh God. Right. I mean, this will be the shortest councillor ward meeting on record, I think.
Catherine's got her hand up, Councillor Locke.
Oh, sorry, Catherine, I can't see. Go ahead, please.
Good evening, thank you, Mary. Darren, it's great news that we're going to have some planters. Is there anything that local residents can do to care for them, or that kind of thing? Take ownership, take sort of pride in them.
Absolutely, we always fight. Brilliant if we can get people that are interested locally to adopt or take part, just to keep an eye on them. We'll program in regular maintenance, but when sometimes the plants struggle in between our visits, so we'll be able to give you contacts. But again, if local residents see them drying out, example, which is classic, isn't it? Especially when we newly plant it, we might be watering once a week, and you suddenly get a hot spell. If we get a hot spell, and watering would be fantastic. So yeah, we'd love to involve everybody. And I think once we've had a walkabout, it might be useful for me to come back and give you an example of the types of plants that we can put in them. So again, it give you a flavour of what we're going to be looking for and what we can do and what we'd like to get and adopt a planter regime with local residents. So that would be fantastic if we could do that.
Yeah, thank you. I mean, it'd be great to know sort of who to contact, because one of the things is you don't always know. So if somebody wants to look after it and it's just outside their house, they kind of almost need to know who to just coordinate with, whether it's coming every Wednesday or whatever. So it'd just be great somehow to, without huge administration, set something up like that.
The planters will be on the high street. It's in the primary shopping area where Tesco's would have been if they'd have come to Stirchley. But it is nice to see the area prettied up because it needs it.
Absolutely. But there are people just on Hunts Road and just round the corner who look after their gardens beautifully, so yeah.
It might be nice to see if we could get something there in the future, maybe with some other monies that there is, like Sylvia, community infrastructure, so we can get people, the community, taking part as much as you say, Catherine.
Thank you.
Okay.
Right. Is anyone else got any questions? No, I think that's it. I'll tell you a little bit what I know. Amran Majid used to live next door to me when he was younger, and he's very much into self-defense and anti-bullying, and he runs courses for young people. He's going to have one of the units at Clonmel Road, and it's helping to give children confidence and if they're bullied at school or by by their friends or at all. He did used to do, I don't know whether he still does, KMA now, that he did classes at Stirchley Baths, but he's expanded a little bit now, and he's opening, I think it's in January or February time. So if you can't get on tonight, there will be.
I'm here, Mary.
Oh, you're here. Oh,
I'm here.
There you go. There we go. I've been doing all your talking for you.
No, I'm here.
Right, Imran. May I introduce everyone to Imran?
Hello. Hi, guys.
Would you like to tell us what are your project?
Yeah. So I moved to Stirchley at the age of 5 from Bearwood, and I lived a door away from Mary and spent a lot of my youth with her looking after me quite a lot. But away from that, I'm a martial artist. I'm a 2-time black belt. In 2017, I trained to be a police officer. I got to the last stages of joining. I did a degree at Wolverhampton Uni in policing. I was very, very lucky and fortunate to pass that degree and come out with an education of a Bachelor of Science in policing at a mature age. And I decided to do a big U-turn because I loved martial arts and I had an opportunity to teach. So I trained under British Military Martial Arts, which was ex-military officers up in Telford. And I launched martial arts classes here in Birmingham. The difference with what we do is it's not traditional, it's quite sort of modern martial arts, but the ethics and values are still there about respect and discipline. The biggest part for me was about youth development and how we can channel and reach the youth and help them develop. So, for example, it's all themed, the classes are. So we have Little Soldiers, which is 4 to 7 years of age. And it's all about the core skills. So it's all about control, balance, memory, coordination, and focus. So all these core skills, just teaching them, you know, from their left to their right, how to step, how to move, just how to help them with all those little really important, intricate details so they can transfer them into other areas of their lives. And then give them sort of foundation levels and nice introduction into martial arts. The biggest work we do here is self-defense, situation awareness. It's not about ground and pound. It's not about fighting. It's like the old proverb from the Bruce Lee films, if anyone remembers, fighting without fighting. It's about the art of, you know, diplomacy, talking, showing respect, using your head to get out of a situation. We do promote the sport aspect of point sparring, which is now an Olympic sport. So it's like pretty much like Taekwondo. We have quite a lot of people that have come through us that compete for England. But the most important thing was the anti-bullying. So we support and supported by Princess Diana's Anti-Bullying Award. We learned a lot from them and we put that into practice when we work with children. And we encourage a lot of children that have been through that type of trauma or scenario. I know what it's like myself because I went to an all boys school when it was primarily and predominantly white. And I suffered a great deal of racism, and it was a horrible place to be. I felt very isolated and I felt very alone. And so I firsthand know what it's like to go down that road and to be there. So we help a lot of children. We've been documented in the press. Birmingham Mail did some really lovely pieces on us just before COVID in 2019, where we've helped children who've been bullied. And I go above and beyond in helping parents. So you might get some parents they feel that their school is not proactive enough in helping their child. So what I will do is I will approach the school. Obviously, there's only so much we can talk about because of confidentiality and stuff, but what it does is in the way I do it, it helps give the school a little bit of a nudge so they get proactive to deal with the situation. And for me, the results outweigh, you know, they're just amazing what we've done and how many people we've helped. And that's the main thing for me, is about helping children so they don't have to feel like I did. It's a hard subject for me to talk about, but it's really about helping them. And the other things that we've helped children who've had you know some horrible things happen to them in care, losing parents early. We were documented for a story where we taught a young lad from Cottridge about situation awareness, and he was followed by youths with knives, and he followed our methodology in surviving that knife attack, and it was documented on Midlands Today. So I'm opening up my own. I teach in the education sector. So I teach at Camp Hill Girls, Camp Hill Boys, Bishop Vesey in Sutton, Kes in Edgbaston, Hallfield, Hallfield School, Blue Coat, lots of enrichment sessions, University of Birmingham School, and this is all part of curricula. And the reason why they've taken to what we do, because there's an educational value here of how to develop children, how to reach out to children, how to help children, for those who just need confidence and self-esteem, and for those who have been bullied and have been through situations and scenarios. So we're not just helping people to learn martial arts. There's an array of people here that we're helping. We also support the Autistic Society because we don't want any child to feel isolated. So we encourage them, and I do get emotional about it because we've helped so many.
Thank you.
We've helped so many of them. So that's what we do. And I'm going to launch my own academy, and I'm going to do that work on a big scale, and hopefully help as many people as I can, and hopefully, you know, and help as many adults as we can as well. And the whole ethos of the centre is the family centre. So there'll be a family class where the family can come and they can bond with their children. They can train with their children. There'll be classes for women only and self-defence classes for women only. There's huge population of female students in Selly Oak where we can, you know, help a lot of those as well. So there'll be a lot of people that we can help in the community. There's a very positive thing through the martial arts that we do, and that's what attracts me to it so much, because it serves community.
Well, thank you, Imran.
Yeah.
Your mother is proud of you, and I know your dad will, and BB. All right, has anyone got any questions for Imran? Imran's project is his unit that he's going to be opening is on Clonmel Road. And obviously he'll get more publicity out as things get nearer, so he can promote it. But I wanted to introduce him so that for something for the younger members of younger people living in Stirchley and beyond. But thank you again, Imran, and well done.
Does he have any websites or anything like that at the moment? Any Facebook pages?
Yeah. At the moment, our website on Facebook it's British Military Martial Arts Birmingham. On Instagram, it's Kids Martial Arts Birmingham. But we're going to be we've got a brand that we're launching, a centre. The centre is going to be under the umbrella of combat with a K. But if you look for British Military Martial Arts Birmingham, you'll find a lot of information about me and what we do.
Thank you.
Okay.
Councillor Locke, I think Catherine did have a hand up, but now it's gone down again.
Sorry, Catherine.
No, I tried to just put a clap up to say what fantastic work. That's great.
Sorry.
Thank you, Kay.
Thank you very much.
Right. Well, this is going really well. We're supposed to be having Sue Amy as well. Darren as well. I guess there's no more questions. I look forward to seeing you next month. Well, next month when I say January for the walkabout, or and getting the planters and everything for the high street. Sue Amy was supposed to be coming, but she may have had problems linking in. I'll give you a bit of an update on what's been happening. Stirchley as a ward has had some welcome back funding, and there's going to be some deep cleaning and graffiti cleaning from the Persia Road. I am trying to get things so that we don't just concentrate on the Persia Road. Not that I'm against it, but there are other areas of Stirchley I want to concentrate on too. There is just as important. And also there will be some funding, and we're looking at purchasing some lights, festive lights, which I think it will really look nice on the high street. Sandra, and I don't know whether Rob's here this evening, Sandra and I and Rob, we met with Aldi because they've bought the rest of the 7 Capital land that remains. It was interesting, and they're in talks with the planning department, and I would imagine sometime next year the plans will come out and for consultation. So we'll see what happens from there, and obviously people can put comments in. One of the big issues that's going on at the moment, and big being the operative word, is Pineapple Road, the 5G mast, and applications gone in there. There has been couple of meetings which Catherine kindly organised, and there's been a considerable response putting in objections to the mast. There's not even been talked by the company to residents or Catherine or anyone. I put in objections. Steve McCabe has put objections in, and like I say, there's a considerable amount of now I should imagine the neighbourhood forum will obviously put their comments in too. I know that Sandra will. I've got a brief report about Dad's Lane Community Association. The progress so far is quite positive and slow. They've got quite a bit of grant funding to develop the ground floor of the building. Increased building costs and materials and shortage of manpower or woman power have made it difficult to keep to a time frame. Plans were approved about 2 or 3 months ago for the centre for a cafe. There's a lot of volunteers who help as well. There's a reed growth project for the gardening with the Ford House Forest School and Fruit and Nut Village, which will do work in the garden. And I'm hoping that Steve Squires can come along to a future meeting and update us. I don't, is there any more questions that people have or want? If I can answer them, I will. No.
No, I don't think so, Councillor Locke. Everybody's very quiet this evening.
They are. I mean, I believe the closing date for the mast is, they said the 2nd. I thought it was the 3rd. And I believe the planning will make a decision sometime around the 15th. I've sent Catherine details, and so I'm hoping they weigh up all the information and what people have sent in. So hopefully, well, it's been right in the middle of in front of a church for a start, also in a residential area. It's totally unsuitable. And Catherine.
Sorry, thank you, Mary, because there is a lot of heat about this and not a lot of light. I noticed that the Ford House Lane one went through on the officers' say. Should it be that this one went through on an officer's say, what possibility for comeback is there then?
My understanding is it isn't actually a planning application. It's their recommendations, because it's not high enough to need planning permission. And so although they ask things and the council say things, it's a bit of a really grey area as to what it actually means in practice. I mean, at the very least, what has happened so far has made them go back and actually put in a proper application. to show they have thought, because there wasn't any indication they'd thought about anything other than this is the easy place to put it.
Yeah.
And there was the supplementary that they put in, as obviously you've made them do a lot of work, which will make them stop and think next time they want to do it, for example. But in practice, I don't know. I don't know quite what's likely to happen. But the Ford House Lane one, there were options if they'd wanted to pay the rent to put it on a building. There were buildings that they could put it on. But this particular company just doesn't seem to like paying rent, because Mary and I have seen another application just in the ward that has been put on top of a building in a non-residential area, and we didn't really see we could object to that.
Yeah.
But I don't know. But I think because they need more for 5G, this probably isn't going to be the last one we get in the ward. I suspect there are others. So for people who don't know, I'm the planning officer of Stirchley Neighbourhood Forum, which is how I get involved in these things.
I mean, Mary, like, they have been stopped in particular locations in other parts of them.
Yeah.
And I think if it were that a notice came out around the 15th of December saying that the officers had approved it, I, for one, am going to need to know what the possibilities are for further representations, because I'm going to have all sorts of people wanting to hold meetings. So it's the best thing for me to email the planning officer who's in the lead on this and ask him. Okay, I'll do that. Fine.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Copy me in as well, Catherine, because it's Samuel Cripps.
Yeah.
And Andrew Fulford as well.
Okay, thank you.
Because I think it is being taken seriously, because people are copying me in and I'm sending it on just in case they haven't been able to get through to planning and that, but I would like to see how many people have sent in objections. It could be a significant amount. I hope it is anyway, so we'll see. But
I mean, it seems to me that part of the if it were that it was to be approved by officers, I think the reaction locally would be at least in part about how is it that we have no say over our neighbourhood. It's a bigger issue than simply the mast, and so having some way to then harness the energy so that it's light, not heat, is really important. For the sake of cohesion and community and good relationships with those in authority and all sorts of other things. So just I will email Sam and get some clarity on that.
Also Ian McLeod as well. He's the director of planning as well. So and I'll also add a few comments as well, because I'm not saying it make any difference, but the anger that people are feeling locally, it's not. I mean, other areas, Bourneville, unfortunately, due to an officer's mistake, that got accepted. I know Northfield didn't, Hodge Hill, there was a Wheelie one didn't get accepted. So there are a number of them that have failed, and thankfully for people in the city, they can breathe again and not have them the monstrosities outside where they live, or looking at them through when they're in their back garden.
Thank you.
So is there anything else, Sandra?
Yeah, I noticed the police aren't here tonight as they were at a previous meeting. They haven't been coming to neighbourhood forum meetings because they've only got one person, and if he's not on duty or out, then they can't send anyone. And they're public meetings that they say that they are holding instead of going to other people are all in Bourneville, and the other side of Bourneville. I know, but why not have the odd public meeting in Stirchley? Can you make representations, please, Mary? Because we're not getting anywhere.
Well, I've made Paul is very very much his new managers, Gareth and David Strong, have both said that there's one meeting and one meeting only. Because I mean, I know Cottridge want to hold a meeting. I'd like to hold a meeting on the on Pineapple, you know, Catherine's place, and it's resources and.
Well, maybe they should have one less in Bourneville and one nearer
There is
here.
only the one. They only do that quarterly in Bourneville. That's on
exactly
on Thursday.
Let's have a quarterly meeting somewhere nearer us. Can you make that representation? Because we're not Bourneville anymore.
Well, no, but we come under Bourneville.
I know.
If there's a crime, Bourneville Lane Station is that deals with the crime. You know,
but as I say, we don't live in Bourneville. We just come in their area, and I think they should come to us occasionally, once a year. Wouldn't be asking too much.
Well, I will. I'm going on Thursday, so I will ask on Thursday. But I will ask for Gareth to email you and his response.
Okay, thank you.
Was there anything else? Okay. I think that's all. If there's nothing else, after a very, very short meeting, I'm afraid, I will thank everybody for coming, and I hope you have a safe Christmas, stay safe, and we'll see you in the new year, or if not before, because I know there's a few Christmas events going on, so I'll be popping in to see them wherever they are in the ward. Okay, thank you.
Councillor Locke.
Yep.